Hello everyone, I'm Frank and welcome to Learn How to Sudoku, where we take a very easy variant Sudoku puzzle and we break it down in detail so that you can learn how to Sudoku. Today's very easy puzzle is called Factor Factory by Kipar, and here are the rules. Normal Sudoku rules apply, which means fill the entire grid with the digits 1 through 9 without repeats in any row, column, or box. Most of the grid is covered in fog. Placing a correct digit in a cell removes fog from that cell and surrounding cells, revealing more information. So if you place this digit correctly, I'm assuming it says surrounding cells, you would clear the fog in this cell and in the 8 surrounding cells around it. So you can gain more information that way. Digits in cages sum to the clue in the top left corner of the top leftmost cell. Okay. So digits in cages sum to the clue in the top left corner of the top leftmost cell. Okay. Cages are made up of orthogonally connected cells, and digits cannot repeat in cages. Okay. So, for example, okay. Cages are made up of orthogonally connected cells, and digits cannot repeat in cages. And the digits in cages sum to the clue in the top left corner of the cage, of the top leftmost cell. All cages must contain at least 2 digits that multiply to the cage clue. That is, a valid 12 cage could contain the digits 3, 4, and 5. So assume that this 12 cage went down here. Because this has to be the top leftmost cell. Assume it went like 3, 4, and 5. There's going to be some issues here, but this is valid because 3 and 4 can divide into 12. Because 2 of the digits... oh, wait, hold up. It's that 2 of the digits multiply to that cage clue. Okay, so then this has to be 3 times 4 to multiply to 12, right? 2 of the digits must multiply to 12 if that's the case. So that's how that works. So this is for all cages. The digits must add up to the small number in the top leftmost corner of the top leftmost cell. And all cages are made up of orthogonally connected cells, which means that they have to share an edge with the rest of the cells in that cage, or can connect to the rest of the cells in that cage with an edge. So it could be something like this, right? What you cannot have is something like this be a cage. That's not allowed because these do not share an edge. This cell does not share an edge with the rest of the cage. And again, remember the digits in the cage must add up. So that's to the sum in the top leftmost corner of the top left corner of the top leftmost cell in that cage. And that's typical killer cage Sudoku. The difference is that in the cage, you must have at least 2 digits that multiply to the cage clue. That's the only difference there from normal killer cage Sudoku. And then finally, we have Kropke dots rules, where digits separated by a white dot are consecutive. So assume that this was, say, a white dot here. Then if this were, say, a 6, this would have to be a 5 or a 7 to make sure that these digits are consecutive. Digits separated by a black dot have a 2-to-1 ratio. So if this were, say, a 2, this would have to be a 1 or a 4 to maintain the 1-to-2 ratio here. And those are all the rules. If you'd like to play along, there's going to be a link in the description. And now, I'm going to get started. Let's learn how to Sudoku. Okay, this is a little bit more involved because we don't know how many digits these cages are. But, again, remember, in each cage, we need at least 2 digits that multiply to the cage clue. So this does not work if this is only 2 digits here, right? Because the only 2-digit combinations are 1 and 5 and 2 and 4, neither of which actually multiply to 6. 1 and 5 multiplies to 5, and 2 and 4 multiply to 8. So you need 3 digits here to be essentially, to have that multiplication rule still be valid. So it would have to be 1, 2, and 3 multiplied together. Or you can actually multiply all 3 together, and you do get 6 from that. So this has to be 1, 2, and 3. And this 1, 2, and 3 must be either this way or this way. We're not sure which. But these must be 1, 2, or 3. And we know in this box there has to be a 1, 2, 3 in one of these 4 cells. Therefore, this cannot be 1, 2, or 3. We need to multiply to 10, you need a 2 and a 5. The only combination of digits that can add up to 10 with a 2 and a 5 is 2, 3, and 5. But we know 1, 2, and 3 cannot be in this box. Therefore, this must be a 5 here. So this is 5. There we go. We know then 1, 2, and 3 are here. This is 1, 2, and 3. This has to be a 2, 3 pair to add up to 5. These digits must add up to 12, and then 2 of them must multiply to 12. That would be either, you can't have 1 times 12, obviously, but you could have 2 times 6 or 3 times 4. If you had 3 times 4, the problem is this stays in a 1-to-2 ratio. And 3, 4, and 5 are not in a 1-to-2 ratio. None of them with each other. So it has to be 2 and 6 multiplied together with a 4 added together. And 2 and 4 are in a 1-to-2 ratio. So that works there. These can't be 2 or 4 in this row, because this 2 to 4 needs to be in the 1-to-2 ratio. This has to be a 6 to add up to 12. This is a 1, 3 pair, which eliminates 1 and 3 in the rest of the box and the cage. So therefore, this must be 2 here. Okay, we need 18 and 14. 14 is a combination of 2 and 7. So that would require 2, 7, and 5 to add up to 14, or 2, 7, 1, 4. Either way, even if it's 4 cells, it can never be 5 cells, because 14 can never, 5 digits, unique digits, can never add up to 14 or less, right? Because the minimum is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which adds up to 15. So these 4 cells in this cage, if at maximum, would have to have a 2 and a 7 to multiply to 14, and then you could have a 5 with it, or a 1 and 4 combination. But either way, if it's 4 digits here, or 4 digits here, or 4 digits here, or 3 digits here, 3 digits here, they are all in this box. And the 2 has to be in this cage, in this box. So this can't be 2. This must be a 3, which makes this a 2. Okay. We know this is either 3 digits or 4 digits, and it either goes here or here. So 2 has to be one of these 2 digits here. We also have a 7 here, so 7 has to be one of either these 4. We have 18. What multiplies to 18? It's specifically, it's either 2 or 9 or 3 and 6. But it's 3 digits and you cannot have a 2. So it has to be specifically 3 and 6 multiplied together to get to 18. Well, if that's the case, you also need a 9 there to add up to 18. So this is 3, 6, and 9. This can't be 3. This can't be 6. Okay, this can't be 2 because of a 2 here. So that makes this a 4, which makes this a 2. This is in a 1 to 2 ratio here. That's not helpful. Okay. What gets multiplied to 16? Well, again, digits cannot repeat in cages, so you can't have 4 times 4. So it must be specifically 2 and 8. How do you access the 2 here? You can have 5 digits, but 2 and 8 already adds up to 10. So then you would have to have 3 unique digits that add up to 6, but without a 2. So that would be 1, 3, 4 at minimum, and that doesn't work. So this combination has to have a 2 and an 8, and it must add up to 16. So that means 4 digits. It can't be 2, 6, and 8, because if it's only 3 digits, the 2, 6, and the 8 cannot be here, right? This would have to be 8. This digit would have to also be from 2, 6, and 8, which doesn't work. So it has to be 2, 8 with 1 and 5. So this is 1 or 8. Where is the 2? Where can you get the 2? 2 can't be in this row because of this 2. 2 can't be in this row because of that 2. It goes down. This is the top leftmost corner, so it would have to go to here. And therefore, this would have to have a 5, a 1, and an 8 here. This would then have to be a 2. So that's a 2. Is this really... Oh, yeah. Okay, so this is 1, 5, and 8 here. So this is 1, 5, 8 here. We have 4 digits adding up to 15. And we also know it must be a... 15 can only be 3 times 5. So you have 3 times 5 adding up to 15. You can't have a 2. You can't have 4 and 4 together, so it must be 3, 5, 1, 7, right? 1 and 7 to add up to 15. No, 3, 5 adds up to 8. We need 1 and 6. So it's 3, 5, 1, 6. That eliminates 1 and 5. 1, 3, 5, and 6 from the rest of the box, which eliminates 1 and 5 here. So this must be 8. This must be 1. That must be 5. This can't be 3 or 5 here. This is a 2, so this cannot be a 2 here. Where's a 2 in this cage? It must be here. So this is a 2. So this is 2, 5, and 7. So this has to be 5 and 7. This can't be 5 because of this 5, so this must be 7, which makes that a 5. Okay. This digit that's next to a black crop key dot can only be 3 or 8 here, right? The digits that can be next to a black crop key dot are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 8, but we already have a 1, 2, 4, and a 6 in that box. So this must be 3 or 8. 3 can only be with 6, 8 can only be with 4. So those are fine. The remaining digits in this box have to be 4, 7, and 9. This can't be 7 because of the 7. So this is 4, 9, 4, 7, 9, 4, 7, 9 here. 1 cannot be in these cells in this box. So it has to be one of these 2 digits, which means this cannot be a 1. 5 cannot be here. Therefore, 5 must be one of these 2. What are the remaining digits in this box? They have to be 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. And 7 cannot be here. 4 cannot be here because of this 4. 6 cannot be here because of this 6. 7 has to be 1. Okay. Let's just mark what we know. This has to be a 7 here. The remaining digits in this is a 1. We have 7, 8, and 1, and 4. That's pretty broad. Where's 5 in the central box? Can't be here, can't be here. It must be one of these two digits. Which means 5 has to be one of these 3 here. 7 must be one of these 2. This must be the digits 1, 4, 6, and 9. Oh, this 3 means this can't be a 3, so this is a 1, which makes that a 3. What else do we know? 3 has to be one of these 3 digits. 2 has to be one of these 2 digits. 5 has to be one of those. Sorry, 2 has to be one of those 3 digits. 5 has to be one of those 3 digits. 2 has to be one of these 3 digits. 2 has to be one of these 2 digits. 6 is one of these 2 digits. So 6 also has to be one of those 3 digits. What else do we have? Ones must be one of these 2 digits, which means this is a 1-2 pair here. Because we have a 1 here, a 1 here. Neither of these could be 1. This can't be 1 because it's not in a 1-to-2 ratio with any of 3 or 8. So these have to be 1, 2 as a pair. Fives has to be one of those 2 digits. Okay. One of these 2 digits must be a 3, which means this can't be a 3 here. This is a 1, 6, 1, 6 pair, which eliminates 1 and 6 in the rest of the box. Therefore, this can't be 6. This has to be a 3, 5 pair here. Does that tell us anything? Not particularly. If this is a 4-8 pair, oh, that's interesting. Does that tell us anything there, really? If this is a 4-8 pair here, therefore 4 and 8 cannot be in the rest of the row. Where would the 4 and the 8 be? 4 would have to be here, 8 would have to be here. If this is a 3-6 pair, that means 6 would have to be here. So this is 6 or 8, that's fine. 3 would have to be here, so 3 would have to be one of these 3 digits, which is also fine. So this could still be anything. It cannot be 7. 4 still could actually. No, 4 cannot be here anymore. So if this is 4-8, that forces this to be what? 5 has to be here. So this would have to be 3 and 5 if that's the case. So 4-8, we need 3 and 5 here. Seven would have to be here. So 4, 8, 3, 5, that would be 7, 6, and 9 here. And this would be 8 and 4. If this is 3 and 6, this is this is a 1, 6 pair, which eliminates 1 and 6 from the rest of the column. So this can't be 1. This must be a 2, which makes that a 1. Okay, I can't read what that is. That's 18. 18 again could be 2 and 9 or 3 and 6. There's no 2 here, though. So it cannot be 2 and 9. It has to be a 3, 6 combination, adding up to with 9 to 18. You could have 3, 6, 4, 5, or 3, 6, 2, 7. But the problem is if you had 4 digits here, there's no way to get 3 and 6 here without having these be 3 and 6. There's no 2 here because 2 is here and 2 is here, right? So that eliminates 2 in possibility as a cage in this cage. So it has to be 3 and 6. 3 and 6 cannot be here because they're in this cage. So this has to be 3 and 6 here. So this is 3, this is 6. This must be a 9 then. Which makes this a 6, which makes that a 1. Therefore, this is a 4. This 1 means this can't be 1, so this is a 6, which means this can't be 9. Also, this can't be 9. This can't be 6 here. Then we have a 3, 9 pair here. This can no longer be 6 here. So we know a 6 has to be here. This can't be 6. This is 4 and 8, which makes this a 3, 5 pair here. This has to be a 6, 7, 9 triplet here. This must be an 8. This must be a 4. This must be a 7, 9 pair here. This must be 5, 7, or 9 here. And this must be 8 with 7 or 9. And this can't be 8. Where is the 8 in this box? It has to be here. So this is an 8. This can't be 3 because of this 3, so that's a 5, which makes that a 3. This can't be 4 because of this 4, so this is 7, which makes that a 4. This 7 eliminates that 7, so that's a 9, 7, 9. This can't be 7 or 9, so it's 5. This can't be 5 or 9, so that's 7. This is in a 1 to 2 ratio. 7. Where can the 7 be in this box? Can't be here. It must be here as a 7. The remaining digits are 1, 4, and 8. This cannot be 1 or 8. So this must be a 4 then. So this is 4. This is a 1, 8 pair here. This must be a 6, 9 pair. And this must be a 1, 8 pair. And this can't be 1, so this must be 8, which makes that a 1. This is a 1 to 2 ratio, and it cannot contain 1, 4, or 8. That eliminates everything but 3 and 6. So this is 3 and 6. This must be then a 2. So this is a 2. This adds up to 12. If this is 3, that doesn't work because 3 digits doesn't add up to 3 digits to multiply. To multiply together to 12, you have to have 2 and 6 or 3 and 4. But if you had 3 and 4 here, that would add up to 9. So that's not allowed. Oh, this is also 1 or 3 to be consecutive with 2. So this must be 2 and 6, and that therefore this is a 4 to add up to 12. So this is 6, this is 3, this is 4. This can't be 3. This can't be 2. This is in a 1 to 2 ratio. So this must be 1 or 8 here to be in a 1 to 2 ratio. Because again, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 8 as the only digits that can be next to. That can be in a 1 to 2 ratio with another digit. Therefore, this is 2 or 4 here. We have a 1, 8, 1, 8 pair in column 6, which eliminates 1 and 8 from the rest of the column. Therefore, this must be 3, 5, 7, and 9 for these two cells, but it can't be 3, so this is 5, 7, 9, and this is 5, 7, 9. What are the remaining digits in column 1? They have to be 2, 7, and 8, but this can't be 2. The remaining digits in column 2 are 4, 5, and 9, but this can't be 4. And the remaining digits in column 3 are 1, 3, and 6. And this can't be 6. We have a 1, 3, 1, 3 pair in column 3, which eliminates 1 and 3 in the rest of the column. Therefore, this is a 6. This multiplies to 20 with 2 digits. It can only be 4 and 5. You can't have anything else there. So this is 4 and 5. Therefore, this must be a 9. We have 9 adding up to... 4 and 5 adding up to 9, which means the other 2 digits must add up to 11. Well, 1 can never add up with another digit to add up to 11, so this is 3, this is 1, and this must be then 8, which makes that 7, which makes that a 2. This can no longer be 2, this must be 4, and this must be 8, this is a 2. I can't see what this is. 28. This can't be 7 or 9, because of that 7 or 9, so this is 5. Which means this can't be 5, so it's a 3, which makes that a 9, which makes that a 3, which makes that a 5. This 8 means this has to be a 1, which makes that an 8. This can't be 5 or 9 because of the 5 or 9 in the column, so this is 7. This 4 eliminates that 4, so that's a 5, which makes that a 4. This can't be 3 anymore, so this must be a 3 here. This must have a 4 and a 7 here. Well, 7 can't be here, 7 can't be here, to multiply to 28, right? So this must be a 7 here. Which can be, yeah, this can't be 7 here, this can't be 7 anywhere else. Actually, we can, no, 7 can't be here, 7 can't be here, 7 can't be here. 7 does have to be here. This is 3. That's 3 in the corner. We celebrate because we're nowhere close to solving this. This can't be 7, therefore this is a 7 here. This adds up to 28 with 4 digits, and we have 11 already, which means the other 2 digits must add up to 28 minus 11, which is 17. So we need an 8 and a 9. So this has to be an 8, this is a 9, which makes that 6, 9. 6, 9. And the remaining digit here is a 6. The remaining digit here is a 1. The remaining digit here is a 9. And that leaves 1 and 5 here. So this must be a 5, that must be a 1. And that's how you solve it. I'm not sure I would put this as very easy. It flows very well if you know the logic behind it. And I guess if you have good factorization, right? Which is why it's called Factor Factory. But it's not trivial, right? This information is kind of sort of niche. Not niche, but it's basically like only Sudoku solvers or people who've done it a lot would know this information fairly easily. Otherwise, you would have to grind through a lot of this information by yourself. And if you're new to Sudoku, this would not be very easy at all, I don't think. But I hope you enjoyed this episode of Learn How to Sudoku, and I'll see you next time on Frank Puzzles. Take care.